Today, the review embargo has lifted on Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which means the reviews are in, and oh boy, are the reviews all over the place.
Well, let's take a look at this. Hang on. Metacritic, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. It's like 7 in the morning right now on a Sunday. I've been up for about 20 minutes. And look, I got stuff I need to do today. So if we could make this one quick, that'd be nice. I'm looking at Super Mario 3D All-Stars on Metacritic. We're looking at an 83 Metascore, 5.9 user score, which is, that's around where I thought it would be. I mean, it's a pack of 3 emulated games for $60. So 5.9 sounds pretty appropriate.
Before we get into this, I am giving away 3 copies of this game. 3 copies of Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Did you scalp them?
Click the gleam.io link down in the description to enter. Also, if you join our Patreon at patreon.com.
Yeah, we're just going to skip this because we got stuff to talk about.
Super Mario 3D All-Stars has had the review embargo lifted. And there's a lot of different reviews we could look at, but I'm basically going to be looking at Metacritic.
There's a lot of different reviews we could be looking at, but instead, we're going to look at this site with a lot of different reviews. Thank you. That's very helpful.
I realize Metacritic weights things, so when you see like that 83 Metacritic score is what it has right now.
His video is from like 4 days ago. Metacritic is still an 83. Interesting.
That's actually a really good score.
And yet we're going to whine about it
on Metacritic, but some people might be like, these are some of the best games ever. What about what do the big outlets think about it?
Well, frankly, I don't care what the big outlets think about really anything. I mean, the big outlets weren't telling you that this game is a complete ripoff. It's $60 and limited availability for 3 games that are literally being emulated. Thank you, Nintendo. I can tell you put a lot of effort into this one.
Well, comicbook.com, pretty big site.
I've never heard of it.
Gave it a perfect score.
And now I'm glad I've never heard of them because they sound like a bunch of shills.
But beyond that, it didn't really get a perfect score anywhere else. It still got some high 90s from some places. You guys might have heard of.
Wait, it didn't get a perfect score anywhere else. I'm literally looking at the Metacritic right now. There's another perfect score from Cubed 3, published the same day everyone else's was. So I don't know if you just missed this or if you're just trying to tell a story here, but Comic Book wasn't the only one to give it a perfect score. They should have been, because no game is perfect, especially not a $60 pack of 3 emulated games. Have I told you guys that this is literally just a 3-pack of emulated games that they're selling to you for $60 with limited availability? Because Nintendo thinks you're stupid sheep? Have I mentioned that to you yet? But if you're upset about this game not getting perfect scores, you're a fanboy. If you're upset about this game not getting high 90 scores, you're a fanboy. I could give you a laundry list of things that are wrong with this collection. In fact, I did that in the previous video. People got pretty mad at me for it, which I find really funny, and I might make a video going through the comments.
Places like My Nintendo News or Nintendo Enthusiast, obviously like Nintendo websites are likely to give it really high scores.
The moment when Nintendo doesn't even give themselves a perfect score for a game that is literally just them sucking their own dick for $60. If anyone was going to give this game a 100, I thought it was going to be the Nintendo outlets.
But none of them really gave it 100, not even Nintendo Life. But then you start to get down here a little bit, and you're starting to notice that some of the bigger outlets, Destructoid gave it an 85.
Which is still a really good score for a game.
As you scroll down, IGN Spain gave it an 80.
That's still a really good score.
GameSpot gave it an 80.
Still a good score.
US Gamer gave it an 80. GameSpeed 80. And it gets even lower from there. PC Magazine gave it a 70.
Oh, PC Magazine did something right for once.
Screen Rant gave it a 70.
Screen Rant did something right for once.
IGN Italy gave it a 70. So, they have different websites. And so the Italian website gave it a 70. Power Unlimited dropped a 60 on that bad boy.
And kudos to them for not caving to the whole Nintendo fan base for this. I really don't want to keep repeating myself. The less than incredible scores for Super Mario 3D All-Stars are not a referendum on the games. It's a referendum on the way the games are being distributed. If you don't recognize this, you have blinders on.
It's a tough game to judge.
It's really not a tough game to judge. It's 3 excellent 3D platformers being distributed in an utterly anti-consumer way. It's really not that hard to sum up.
The thing is, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, we already know what these games are. So the reviews are going to basically be, do you like these games originally or do you not?
No, reviews are going to be, do you like these games originally? Sure. But also, do these games hold up? Do these games run well on the current hardware emulating them? Are these games worth $60 given the market trends with similar things? Are these games being distributed in a pro-consumer way? There's a lot more to these things than just, oh, is the game good? There's plenty of games that I think are fantastic that I wouldn't give a 100 to, even if I love them, because I don't think they aged well. Super Mario 64 for one. I don't think that game aged well at all.
If you like them originally, this is a great collection pack. If you don't, okay.
Well, if you don't like these games originally, the collection is not for you. If you did like them originally, you probably still have them on old consoles or you're emulating them. I know, big spooky PC gamer emulating Nintendo games. Despite the fact that I have owned multiple copies of all 3 of these games. Excuse me for emulating.
And then there's the second thing of, do you compare Super Mario 3D All-Stars to things like the Spyro Remastered Trilogy or the Crash Bandicoot Remastered?
And because this is an analogy that I made in a previous video, again, link in the description to that one if you want to watch that one, because things got spicy over there. The Crash Remastered Trilogy and the Spyro Remastered Trilogy were 3 games completely remastered from the ground up for $40. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is literally emulated games packaged together for $60 on one platform with a timed release window for literally no reason. It's really not difficult to see why people are upset about this.
Because this isn't a remaster. It's literally Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
If it's not a remaster, then why does it cost more than a remaster? Again, Crash and Spyro, 3 games, completely remastered from the ground up for $40. If this is not a remaster, justify the price for me, please.
And I think what's getting lost in all of this, and why I think it's unfair to compare this game to other remasters, even if I wish they would have went that route, is that it's a collection pack. It's not a remastering.
Okay, it's a collection pack, not a remastering. You mean like the Master Chief Collection? You mean like that? Or the Modern Warfare Trilogy Collection? Or the Metroid Prime Collection that Nintendo themselves made? Re-releasing old games bundled together in one package is not a new thing. That's something that's been going on for a long time. But when you're repackaging old games, it is common courtesy to not make us pay full price for them, because the whole reason we want those games again is because we already paid full price for them. And also, a lot of us are just fundamentally opposed to paying $60 for games that came out in the 90s that are running at 720p, 30 FPS. Come on.
Nintendo never advertised it as a remastering, so why should we judge it against actual remasters?
Because actual remasters have more effort put into them and they cost less money.
Now, the reason too is because of the price, right? Other remasters that fully remastered the games didn't charge $60 for their games. But Mario, out of all the remasters we've talked about, Crash and Spyro, like, come on, Mario's a bigger IP.
I really don't care if Mario is a bigger IP. I mean, Call of Duty is one of the biggest IPs in the world, and I still give them tremendous levels of shit when they do something that's dumb with the pricing. Like, let's just take a look at Steam. Let's see how much these COD games cost on Steam. And you know what, while we're at it, let's take a look at how much these Nintendo games cost. I really don't give a shit how big the IP is. Bad pricing is bad pricing.
We all know Mario's the bigger name. Mario games have a higher value to consumers than Crash and Spyro do. I'm sorry.
Okay, so explain the Master Chief Collection. I mean, Halo is one of the best-selling IPs in history. They could do it.
No insult to fans of those franchises or those characters or Activision who owns them. It's just Mario's a bigger deal.
No, it's Nintendo is a piss. Sorry, I'm really tired. I don't have good insults in me yet. Check back in a few minutes.
Mario games are worth more. Super Mario 64 on its own is probably worth more than the entire Crash Bandicoot series.
Yeah, no.
I'm just being honest. Like, I hate saying that because Crash used to be like the Sony mascot, but it's just Mario's that big of a deal.
Wait, so Crash used to be the Sony mascot, implying that the games used to be really good, but somehow they're not good now, but Mario games still are good now. You have to pick a lane here. Either games from the old days are worth money now, or games from the old days are not worth money now. This is such a bad argument. It's the same as the last guy I responded to. You can't just point at opposing arguments and be like, well, I acknowledged it. No, you have to tell me why the opposing argument isn't correct, and you're not doing that. By bringing up the opposing argument and not giving a reason why it's incorrect, you're just making me want to believe that argument more. Because you're doing such a piss poor job of explaining your thought process.
So I can't sit there and be like, oh, the Crash games, these other remasters that were done, which, again, 3D All-Stars is not a remaster.
And yet it's charging more.
Is so terrible. Like, this would be like getting upset that on SNES, back when Super Mario All-Stars came out, that they didn't remaster the games.
But they did remaster the games. Super Mario All-Stars on the SNES, they did remaster the games. This is something that you're getting roasted for in your own comment section. Nintendo did remaster their games on the last All-Stars, which is what makes this collection even funnier.
I mean, there were some slightly better graphics, I think, in Super Mario Bros. 3, but they didn't really remaster anything.
They literally did remaster it. You just don't want to do any kind of research.
Who cares?
Who cares? As I'm making a video about the people who care and how they hurt my feelings.
It's a collection pack.
So don't charge $60 for it? Again, you've explained why this isn't a remaster, but you haven't even acknowledged the actual problems people have with it. People don't care that it's not a remaster. People care that it's being sold like some kind of sacred trophy, because Nintendo is just banking off the sheep in their audience. I really don't care if that upsets you. What other reason is there for the game to be released like this?
Now, I wish they would have did more. I wish they would have at least widescreened Super Mario 64.
I'm sorry, weren't you complaining earlier that the game didn't have enough perfect scores? And now you're saying you wish they did more? That's interesting, because if you believe the game deserved a perfect score, then no more would have had to be done, right?
Or at least gave an option to play it in widescreen. But beyond that, if they weren't going to remaster the games, what the hell is wrong with this collection pack?
The $60 price tag and the arbitrary time limit and the fact that Nintendo has gone out of their way so many times to shame emulation, and then they're literally selling you emulation.
It's just higher resolution versions.
I mean, not really.
Of some of the best Mario games of all time. So all of the complaints I'm seeing anyways, are all based around the fact that Nintendo didn't do what Activision did.
I mean, kind of. But again, it's not just Activision. It's also Microsoft. And it's also Nintendo themselves in the past. Stop fixating on this one-to-one comparison that you already dismissed. You're taking all this criticism and trying to be like, oh, it's just because people want the Crash trilogy, but this isn't a remastered trilogy, so it's not good criticism. No. That's not why people are criticizing it. People are using the Crash trilogy and the Spyro trilogy as an example of what should have been done. I mean, I just can't think of a reason why three emulated ported games have to cost $60. Can you at least acknowledge that? You haven't even brought up the price tag. And even in this screenshot that you're showing right now, look at this. Look at the part he has highlighted. Now look at the part he has not highlighted. The part he has not highlighted is about the price tag. But he's not going to talk about that because he has no answer to that. And he thinks his audience is just as stupid as Nintendo thinks their audience is.
Okay, but this game isn't a remaster. So don't judge it under the same guise as other remasters.
But can we look at this from just a market standpoint? 3 remastered games, $40. 2 remastered games and 3 greatly enhanced ports, $40. 3 direct ports, I think that one was $30 when it came out. 3 enhanced ports, I think this one was $40 when it came out. But now, this one, nah. These ones, those are okay. This one, nah, this one's different. Okay. Why? Just because it's Mario and I like it? Those are some of the best games ever. I mean, this one's got Halo 1, 2, and 3. This one's got COD 4. This one's got Metroid Prime 1 and 2. I mean, you are just terrible at arguing.
Judge it as a collection pack.
You want me to judge it as a collection pack? Okay, I'll judge it as a collection pack. Performance-wise, it's incredibly underwhelming and outdated. The absolute minimum level of effort was done with the porting process, and it is overpriced because you can get all 3 of these games individually for less than $60, or you can emulate all 3 of them for free. And, as I noted in my previous video, the emulated versions of these games are going to run better than the $60 version.
Judge it next to things like the Mass Effect trilogy.
Oh, hey, that's another example. I forgot about the Mass Effect trilogy. Thanks for bringing that one up. Yeah, that one's less than $60.
Judge it next to things like the Metroid trilogy collection pack that came out. You know, the Metroid Prime trilogy.
The Metroid Prime trilogy, like I mentioned, that was updated. Like, they updated the controls and stuff. Which, you know, it's not a ton of work, but it's at least some work.
Like, I'm serious. People look at this, and they're looking at it all wrong.
You're giving examples of why you're saying incorrect things. Like, you're really bad at this.
It's a collection pack. It's not a remaster.
Okay, so why are other collection packs better priced and giving you more content? I mean, I'll keep going back to the Master Chief Collection. 5 games, 2 of them completely remastered. And not only is that game cheaper as a whole, but you can also individually buy the games if you don't want all of them. You're really going to have to do a better job here.
You need to compare it to other collection packs. And in every review I've read, and I've read, God, over a dozen at this point.
Only a dozen? It just seems kind of low for someone this upset.
None of them do the comparisons, in my opinion, properly.
I mean, you literally showed a screenshot with the $60 argument in it, and you didn't talk about that. So I really don't think you're a great judge of reading comprehension.
They'll judge the games, and they'll talk about the games a little bit here and there, but then they start comparing it to remasters. I'm sorry. That's not right.
Okay, but can we I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again, and it's driving me insane. Can you at least acknowledge the fact that 3 remastered games was cheaper on day 1 than 3 ported games on day 1? Are we at least going to acknowledge that?
Now, we can wish they would have gone down that route. We could have wished they would have remastered these games.
Honestly, I don't even care if they remastered them or not. I just wish they were priced better and made more accessible.
But it's just a collection pack. We have seen so many companies do collection packs before.
And almost all of them have been better.
And not really do any upgrades.
And they weren't criticized for that because they weren't so expensive. And there wasn't an arbitrary time limit on them. And the companies generally had a little more respect for the consumers.
So I don't know what the big deal is.
Shocker. What's your channel name again? Oh.
It's not a big deal. Super Mario 3D All-Stars, regardless of the reviews, was going to sell phenomenally well.
You're getting legitimately upset about this. It's kind of funny. Also, it's going to sell phenomenally well. I mean, that's debatable because the Scout prices are up to this now, implying that Nintendo's supply is already low or gone. Again, I bring up artificial scarcity from the last Nintendo video I did. I'm going to say it one more time in case you want to make it your ringtone. Artificial scarcity. If you want to make that your text notification, there you go.
As long as the games work and don't break, cool.
As long as the games work and don't break, cool. Jesus Christ, our standards for games are really low now. And what's sad is a lot of AAA games can't even fit that criteria anymore.
The games work, they don't break, they are what they are. They're literally the old games in HD. You know, controls altered a little bit, you know, to match with the Switch control scheme. I don't know what the problem is.
I bring up again that you literally showed a screenshot of what the problem is and just didn't acknowledge it. In fact, you tried to highlight the part that wasn't the part that was the problem with it. Like if I was doing like awards for the most dishonest channel I've ever seen, you're giving Crap Gamer a run for his money right now. Like this is actually kind of astonishing.
Sometimes I think these quote unquote reviewers,
and now they're quote unquote reviewers. They're not even real reviewers, guys. I'm a real reviewer.
Don't know what the hell they're doing.
If you didn't give this game a perfect score, that's bad. If you gave this game a high 90s, that's slightly less bad, but it's not great. Sorry, I'm just relaying the things that you've already said in this video so you can kind of process in your head how dumb they sound. Because you're now denouncing critics as a whole because they said things about Super 3D Mario All-Star thing. They said things about it you don't like. This game with an 83 critic score on Metacritic, that's not high enough for you. You haven't acknowledged any of the actual criticisms. You've put the actual criticisms on screen, but you're not acknowledging them. And now you're denouncing critics as a whole. Let me show you my favorite play in Madden.
It's fair in a review, I suppose, to mention that you wish Nintendo would have went the remaster route. But to knock it points because it's not a remaster? God damn.
There's another minute and a half of this video. I really don't know if I can do it. But you know what? I'm going to power through it. We're going to keep going because I still have some gameplay left on this Ninja Turtles footage. And I kind of want to show it off because this game is really fun. Hey, by the way, I'm playing this game on a Nintendo GameCube emulator called Dolphin.
I'm sorry. There's no... Maybe this is just my Nintendo bias coming out.
Yeah, you could say that.
But there is no way that a collection of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, those 3 games put into one package, shouldn't be a 90 and above.
And there it is. There's the Metacritic humping. You want to know how this game would have gotten 90 and above? Make it $30. Take off the stupid time limit on how long you can buy it, and you're fine. Honestly, I would be fine with how the game runs, like performance-wise, and the fact that it's literally just emulation. I would be fine with that if it was just $30. But it's $60 at the time limit. That's like, there's like literally who benefits from that? Nobody, except Nintendo. Nintendo owns the IP. Nintendo owns the files. They're literally just putting emulation on a cartridge. They could make an infinite supply of these, and they're choosing not to because of this. They're taking these games that people love and people want to play again, and they're trying to milk it as much as humanly possible because they don't give a fuck. They don't actually give a fuck. Stop acting like they're giving you their blessing to play these games again.
Shouldn't be a 90 and above. I'm sorry. Even if you don't like Sunshine, it shouldn't drag the score below a 90.
Yeah, if you don't like Sunshine, you just need to click off this video because you're wrong. Sunshine is the best 3D Mario game.
This is just my honest opinion.
Why did you just run past that coin? Like, just play that clip again.
This is just my honest opinion.
For your sake, I really hope this isn't your personal gameplay footage. Why did you run past that coin?
There's no way in hell this should be a Metacritic 83. I'm actually criticizing that Metacritic rating.
No way. I never would have guessed that you're criticizing the Metacritic rating. Thanks for pointing that one out.
There's no way in hell that this game shouldn't be a 90 or higher.
I am starting to reconsider ditching this video again because you're just repeating yourself, and I don't want to repeat myself anymore because I feel like my audience is smarter than that. There's another minute of your video left, though, so we'll power through it.
Or it's a collection of games because each of these games are 90s or high.
Each of these games are 90s or higher, therefore $60, please. Metroid Prime Trilogy, never heard of it. Modern Warfare Trilogy, never heard of it. Master Chief Collection, never heard of it. Oh, wait, no, I get it now. Master Chief Collection had 3 games in the 90s and then 2 in the 80s. So that means it should have been cheaper than $60. But this game has 3 games in the 90s, so that justifies $60. Right? Did I get it? Did I figure it out? I'm just trying to see the world the way you do. It's difficult.
Like, there's even like some of the reviews that are negative about this mention that like individually these games are great, but as a collection it didn't do as well as these other. Yeah, it didn't remaster them.
It literally has nothing to do with it. If it sounds like I'm repeating myself, I genuinely apologize to my audience because it probably sounds like I'm talking down to you just because of how much I have to repeat myself with this guy. I'm not talking down to you. I'm just trying to get through a video. Are we good? Are we good?
So stop. Stop. That's so frustrating.
You're getting genuine. You're getting like actually frustrated about this. Chill, bro. Chill.
As a Nintendo fan, it's so frustrating to watch these professional reviewers. I didn't get a review copy, by the way.
I didn't get a review copy, by the way. I mean, we already know what you would have given the game. Sending you a review copy would have been a waste of money and plastic and time and postage. I mean, we already knew what you were going to say about it. You didn't even get a review copy of it, and yet you're doing cleanup for the people who did get a review copy of it.
So sorry, no review for you guys. I'll do some impressions over the weekend, but...
Oh, so you're saying that you haven't actually played the game yet? That's very interesting. You haven't played the game yet. This game should be a perfect score. This game should be 90 plus. You haven't played it yet. Very interesting that you left that till the end of the video, and you're just going to brush right past it like there's nothing wrong with that.
Damn. So stupid. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
Thank God. Yeah, I'm done too. I go a bit more into detail about how I feel about the 3D All-Star. Sorry. 3D All-Star Super Mario shit. Link in the description to my previous video on the topic because I go a bit more into detail in there. But I think you guys have a pretty good grip on how I feel about these kinds of things. I have nothing against Nintendo. I have nothing against Mario games. I have nothing against the people who play Mario games. But I do have a thing against publishers who just could not give a single shit about meeting the consumers halfway. So yeah, I do have a problem with Nintendo. Bye.